Greetings everybody, Guy McMonstermaker here, and I have a quick video. It's been a while since I've done any tutorials, but right now we are preparing for one of our biggest shows of the year, and I wanted to start to kind of revamp some of my statues to make them a little bit more efficient. And so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to create a watertight mesh. Now this is a asset that I saved at a much earlier stage, so there's some editing that still needs to be done on it. Like this thing here needs to be fixed. It's already been fixed, but I mean, like, I went back so far so that I could show you the process of creating the watertight mesh. We're not going to worry about any artifacts or anything like that. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we're in Dynamesh mode here. And why do we need a watertight mesh first and foremost? So if we go ahead and we isolate this face, we'll see that we still have quite a bit going on in the back here. And if we turn on display properties, we can go to double, we'll see that we have material that is still being projected in the back. So whenever you're working with additive manufacturing, you don't, especially if you're working with photopolymers and whatnot, you don't want to have anything trapped inside here, or any areas where there could be material that is preserved and, you know, basically left to expand and crack and destroy your piece at a later date. So most people who are in this business are cognizant of this, but you know, if you're just starting out, this might be of use to you. So we're going to go ahead and disable double. Now, the easiest way to check to see if you have a watertight mesh, in my experience, is to go ahead and go to Subtool, make sure that Live Boolean is on. We're going to go to Append, and we're going to grab a cube. Now, we are going to take this cube, we're going to bring it up, and then we are going to go to Subtract mode. Excuse me. Sorry. I work alone, so I very rarely talk. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start pushing down, and as you can see here, we're coming into these issues here. So, we can work our way down, or we can work our way from the bottom up, but as you can see, all of this material here, we don't need that opening. We don't need that space there. And if you're working with any liquid photopolymers, it's going to cause issues potentially. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to adjust these parameters. So again, in here, you'll see that we have all of this stuff going on where it's trapped. We're not going to worry about that. I'm just going to, this is merely a demonstration really. Okay, so right about here, we're going to start. So we have some areas that are already kind of closed off, and the idea is that in order for this to be a watertight mesh, all the stuff that's inside the neck here behind this is all going to be sealed off. You're not going to see that anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, we're going to go to our Crypt Keeper asset, we're going to go to Inflate, and we're going to be very careful and strategic on how we do this. But what you want to do, now mind you, I'm going a little haphazard here because I've already fixed this, but the general idea is the same. All I will say is be a little more diligent when you're doing it to your own assets. Okay, so we're working our way from the inside out. Do not worry about trying to get over here. We don't need to do that. We're just trying to get all of these spots right here on the inside. Okay, so a lot of this is going to be trial and error, but if you save often, you should be okay. So we're just, what we're doing is we're inflating all of this geometry so that it ends up penetrating itself. Okay, so now we can do one of two things. We can either disable this, and then now we'll go to Dynamesh. I just hit Control and drag it across, and we'll know when it's done because the red cursor will come back. There we go. Alright, so now if we turn this back on, we'll see that it is now solid. Okay, so now let's work our way up. a little bit, see if there are any other spots. Okay, so we have a couple right here. See how it goes from up here, right there. So this we don't need that, we don't need that, and we don't need that. So if you look at the asset, you're not going to see this, right? And it's because there's a little opening right here. You're not going to actually see that if you're looking at the statue, you know, once it's finished. So let's go ahead and come back. We're going to do the same thing, and you just work your way across the board. Okay, come in here. Now another thing you can do is you can always mask the outer surface and then go ahead and do all this. That is definitely an option if you want to make absolutely sure that you're preserving the outer topology. If you're careful, you should be fine. But anyhow, now we're going to go ahead and Dynamesh one more time. We're going to turn this back on. And as you can see, so don't mind these little artifacts that are kind of like floating around here. That's just a graphical thing. It's not going to impact your asset at all. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work our way back up here. Alright, so solid, 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 solid. Ah, okay. So now we take a look here. This one should be fine because it's, you know, it's just adding some dimensionality. It's recessing into the head, give it some depth. But this piece here, we're going to want to come in. And this is extremely important. You always want to make sure that you get these things as watertight as you can. Drag across. Wait for the cursor to come back. Turn it on. There you go. Now it's solid again. Bring it down. Okay, see, so now we have this section here. Alright, so one thing that we can do to get rid of this entirely from the bottom down, if we take this and we figure out where it originates, right about here. Sometimes if you start from the bottom, like I was saying, you can do either or. You can start from the top to the bottom to the top. If you start from the bottom to the top, after closing it off, you have a good chance of excuse me, I really need to talk to myself more when I'm working alone, I guess. Okay, so now if we drag up, you'll see that it basically caught everything that was in between the bottom and the top because it is now sealed off. And so what I would recommend is start on the bottom where you know it's supposed to be sealed off completely, right? And then work your way up to the very earliest point where it opens up, and then everything else will be solidified underneath it. Now, if we drag down here, we go down, 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 everything's looking watertight where it needs to be. If you look here, you'll notice that opening where the outfit was on the very bottom here, where it was hollow and we saw the shaft of the base, that has also been filled in because of that same principle. So that is how you go ahead and create a watertight mesh. And you can take your cube, you can delete it, and there we go. It is a pretty straightforward process. Not everybody is familiar with it. So once you have your asset done, of course, you're going to want to go in, preprocess current, decimate current, so you can get it nice and a good lean topology. Lean poly count. So anyhow, that's it. This is Guy McMonster Maker saying thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this useful, and can't wait to provide more content for you soon. All right, bye-bye.